Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Wake the Fuck Up podcast. This is the morning edition of my Roid Rage. I've been missing the Roid Rage. I haven't. It's really hard to come home and do an angry podcast when most of your anger is just like, just evaporates, within about 20 to 30 minutes of having it. Bitch, goodbye, and then it's over. Part of the reason why I hate drama. Because, there's no need to be overly dramatic and stupid. That's how I feel. But, it is what it is. Welcome to the morning and, wakey. Oh, I only got 2 joints. Oh, hey. Oh, do I have? Yep, I just got 2 joints left. All right. Shall we get started? Okay. Get the fuck up, wake the fuck up, do what you gotta do. I'm awake, I'm happy. Yeah. So it's Wednesday morning. 2 days of weekday politics gone through. And it's time to go through the fun news. So what do we got for the news? Well, first thing I do when I wake up in the morning is I look through my establishment news, billboard, bullshit, whatever. And, I know it's been a month since the election. Doesn't feel like it because they just won't shut the fuck up about it. But I'm already sick of the hysteria and the nonsense and the bullshit and everything else. So let's run through it. Let's see. Rachel Maddow takes substantial pay cut amidst MSNBC changes. Wow. I'm having problems talking this morning. That's great. All right. Well, what's that about? Well, MSNBC, for a very long time, has been a crap network, along with all of the other leftist news organizations, establishment leftist news organizations. MSNBC, ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN, the major ones, they all have the same audience, okay? Left-wing types, few right-wingers who want to watch and, see what the other side is doing. That's great. That's wonderful. That's lovely. But the problem is, if you're watching MSNBC, you're a left-winger. If you like what they present, you're a left-winger. And here's the thing. When you've got 5 different networks, all giving you varying degrees of the same news, from he's a Nazi, he's Hitler, to we need to understand and accept, to we need to work with and, not be cunts about it, that kind of thing, riding the wave. I lost trust for establishment news a long time ago when I realized that they were lying to us, manipulating us, propagandizing us, telling us every little bullshit story they could to gin up, whichever side is watching that particular channel. Yeah, I learned a long time ago to question what these people have to say, not follow along like a puppy going, what do you got to say now, Daddy? What does Mommy want? Yeah, I don't. No, I gave up on that a long time ago. And the moment that I did, I really wish I could find the clip. I really do. But it was CNN. It was late 90s, early 2000s. And they were interviewing on CNN let's see, you had the moderator. I'll use quotations because it was a joke. You had the moderator, you had a black leftist, you had a white leftist professor, and then you had a conservative black talk show host. Okay. And the Republican and the professor were having a cutesy discussion. We see this discussion, or the fruits of this discussion, playing out today, because this was 20-some years ago. But it's the foundation of a lot of these people's mindsets and mentalities. And it goes something like this. They're having a discussion about power. Okay? And at some point, the left-wing professor says that a white fast food worker has more power in this country than a black CEO. I'm going to let that sink in for a second. Think about it for a second. A white fast food worker making minimum wage with very little to no input in society has more power than a black CEO of a company or corporation. Yeah, it's a bullshit statement. It really is. It is a total bullshit statement. A poor white kid with no fucking input in any part of society at all has more power than someone with money, access to influence, and access to power. That's how stupid some of this shit is. And the moderator, again, quotation marks, because moderators actually moderate things and, objective and, hey, you've got this point. We need to clarify or look through it or, ask questions about it. No, he didn't do that. He went right along with the story. He went right along with that suggestion. And the right-winger was like, are you serious? Did you actually believe that shit? And the guy was like, yeah, absolutely. It's the truth. And the guy's just staring at him dumbfounded. Like, I don't even have a fucking response for that. How can you say something so fucking stupid? It's a left-wing professor in an Ivy League school, if I remember correctly. And he's saying this because it's what he believes, because in his mind, that's the way things are. Because reality, he's kind of disconnected from it a little bit. If you're in a professorship, you're in a very isolated spot. You might know corporations, but you're begging them for money. And that's the other question I would have for dude. It's like, well, if a white fast food worker has more power in this country than a black CEO, who are you kissing ass for money? For your university? For your school? Are you kissing the ass of that white fast food worker to get some cash out of him? Or are you going to go kiss the ass of the black CEO who's got money, who you need to write a check for your school? And again, when I heard this and the moderator did nothing but just go along with the point, like, hey, I don't have to question this. I believe it too. It's like, that was the moment I completely dismissed establishment media as unbiased, as fair, as judicious, as, just the American media and what its ideal is supposed to be. We're fact checkers, we're looking over things and everything's going to be great. And it's like, no, you're lying, corrupt scumbags too. Just like the people you support. Can't fucking unsee it. Can't fucking know it. It's the truth. It's there. Once you see it, once you realize it, there's no going back. It's like getting back together with a shitty ex. You know what's going to happen. You know how it's going to turn out. But for some odd reason, you're going to do it anyway because, well, it's familiar and maybe that changed and things are different now and blah, 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 blah. No. It's pretty much the same. Every time I watch establishment news, I see almost the exact same thing every single time. A few people who don't agree with the other side's perspective on a panel with maybe one person from that other side. You know, you might have 6 on 1. You might have 5 on 1, 3 on 1, whatever. But it's lopsided, okay? There's no fairness at all on either side, okay? I'm going to say that right now. There's no fairness on either side. Both sides play the exact same game. They lie, they cheat, they steal, they fuck each other over. You know, I always have said that Democrats and Republicans are like a married couple that got bored with each other a long time ago, and now it's just a business relationship. You know, they fuck everybody else but themselves. They're a true, honest-to-goodness, shitty-ass married couple. They fuck everybody else but themselves because they know if they fuck each other, shit goes downhill real quick. Real fucking quick. I used to be a Republican. But I know how fucking corrupt the Democrats are. I've watched it. I've seen it. It's been right in front of faces for all time. I mean, the Democrats supported Bill Clinton. The feminists supported Bill Clinton, a known liar, sexual predator, and possible rapist. His wife instituted this thing called the destroying and demagoguing and using her connections within the media to destroy any claims against her husband until long past the point where they matter. You know, when you've got a half a dozen women all saying he raped me, he sexually assaulted me, he used his position of power to gain influence and cause me problems, blah, 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 blah. The bimbo eruptions. That was his wife that was putting all of that shit down with her help of her friends in the media. Left-wing media. Right-wing media, well, they loved it. They were eating it up like gangbusters. They were scooping that stuff and they were feeding it to their constituency going, hey, look at this. He's corrupt and he's a scumbag. We need to get rid of him. So let's give you the most uncharismatic, boring old man we can to try and beat him in an election. Again, they're like a married couple. They like to fuck everybody else but themselves. Because I've been a part of politics in one form or another since the early 90s, and I've been watching this shit for a long fucking time. And every time I see the same old tired game of, hey, we're corrupt, we're scumbags, and we help each other out. Because as soon as they get off work, they go to the bar, eat with each other. Hey, wasn't that great? Oh, what a wonderful day. They really believe that we hate each other. Yay! And some of them might. Do they actually hate each other? A little bit, I bet. A little jealousy, professional jealousy. That always happens, especially when you got a whole herd of people in the same office going, oh, I want power. Well, guess what? You better go find it. You better go work it. You better go get it, right? Again, they're all working for the same people. Same billionaires, same millionaires, whatever. Whoever's got money, give me some money, please. I really, 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 really need to get elected. What do you need? What do you want? Quid pro quo. Sorry, quid pro quo. What do you need? What do you want? You know, how can I peddle influence? How can I trade influence? How can I do this and that? You know, it works. It's great. It's wonderful. You know, again, I hate both sides. I don't like either side. I question everything that comes out of their mouths, and I look for subtext. I look for wordplay. I look for bullshit, and I see it all the time, and I hear it all the time, and I'm just so tired of it all. You know, I hate drama. I really do, and you know, I like to cut through the drama and just get it done. So let's go through the news this morning real quick because, you know, fun till mommy takes the batteries away. Let's go. Let's see what we got here. Give me my Microsoft. Give me my Microsoft. There we go. There we go. Donald Trump suffers double blow over nominations. Don't give a shit. Don't give a shit. I don't care. Oh my God. Oh my God. He picked people we don't like. Let's bloviate about it endlessly. Yay. Fuck. Goddamn. Oh. Oh yeah. Oh my God. This is great. Pardon me, Democrats. Opinion. Opinion by Jason Fields. For Newsweek. The current definition of a Democrat is someone who plays nice, by the rules, regardless of the bully kicking sand in his, her, or their face. Oh, God. That's the kind of line that just says you're a sycophant. You're a bootlicker. You're a bucket carrier. You have no critical thought in your head. You're a sycophant. Because if you're not willing to be critical of your own side, you're not open-minded. You're not fair. You're not judicious. You're a lackey. A lackey. You know what a lackey is? A lackey is someone who bootlicks. God. Put pardons aside for a minute and imagine what the Democrats could have accomplished when they held control of all three branches of government. If they'd had the courage to remove the filibuster, women would still have access to abortion in all 50 states. No one would be without health care. College would be more affordable, and our world would be a cleaner, cooler place. Jesus Christ. Talk about someone head being so far up the Democrat bullshit ass. But no, today's Democrats continue to play by rules that the Republicans have long left behind. Taking away the filibuster in the Senate, which allows a minority to block the will of the majority through procedural hocus pocus, was once called the nuclear option. The fear was that if the Democrats changed the rules today, the Republicans would surely do the same tomorrow and the end would come. Yeah, okay. Finally, with the number of vacancies on the federal bench reaching epic status, the filibuster was removed, but solely in the case of confirming judges. Lo and behold, the bench started to fill. A Washington miracle. On everything else, the filibuster was held. But will it in the next Congress, controlled by Republicans, many of whom live on MAGA's bleeding edge? Will mere procedure, not mentioned anywhere in the Constitution, hold back a national ban on abortion? Will it even be enough to block President-elect Donald Trump's cronies from creating a law forcing all Democrats to wear red clown noses so that they're more easily identified and discriminated against? No, today's Republican Party isn't much on the rule of law or the value of precedent unless either suits them. Yeah, that's true for both parties, dipshit. If the rule of law doesn't fit their needs and desire to remain as corrupt as possible, they just dismiss it out of hand. You know, it's the same reason why Democrats are calling for speech codes to imprison people for saying things that are politically incorrect. They don't seem to have a problem with that. That's against the rules. That's against the law. That's against the Constitution. But it doesn't seem to bother them. The Republican Party, they went along with Obamacare. They used it for campaign purposes. They used it for raising money purposes. But did they actually go against it? No. The reason why? Republicans like the idea too. You bribe people with free shit, they'll vote for you. That's the principle. Sorry. Both sides do it. If you haven't learned how to see it, simple. Simple. If you haven't learned to see it, just for 1 second, for 1 second, good hit. For 1 second, think about it. This is common sense right here. This will tell you how off your thinking is. This is what common sense does. If you're okay, how do I put this? If the shoe was on the other foot, if you were a Republican instead of a Democrat, and you were watching the things that your party was doing and not get pissed off, while you get pissed off at the other side, yeah, you're not. Yeah, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. You can't ream the Republican Party for the same thing the Democratic Party does, and vice versa, and not be a hypocrite, and not be a fraud, and not be a liar. You know, it's a point I figured out a long time ago, about 97, that I didn't give up on the hope that it could be changed and things could be different and everything will be awesome one day. Yeah, I gave that up in 2012. It took me a while. It took me almost 20 years, because, you're hanging on to that hope. You're hanging on to the hope that your party is not the scum-sucking maggot motherfuckers that the other party is. And when you start seeing things that are so blatantly obvious, that are just dumb decisions meant to shoot yourself in the foot, you stop believing in the lies. You stop believing in the lies. You start to question the things that you're being told when you're being openly lied to with a smile on your face, on their faces, as they do it, and you're sitting there going, why do I get this pain in my ass? This nagging, gnawing, muscle clenching pain in my ass. Why am I getting that right now? Oh, I'm being lied to and fucked over by the same people who I was always told were scumbags and assholes. Oh, well, that's not good. So does that mean everything I've ever been told is a lie? How much of it is a lie? Oh, God damn it. That's the way it is. Again, and I'm going to say this point blank, the Republicans supported Obamacare. The years that they spent campaigning against it were just money-making endeavors to enrich their coffers. They supported it. You want to know how I know? It's simple. This is another instance of Democrat and Republicans scratching each other's back, giving each other a circle jerk, while it's our faces that get covered in splooge. The Heritage Foundation wrote the primer for Obamacare. The Heritage Foundation is a right-wing think tank, neocon think tank. Hillary Rodham Clinton, the wife of President Clinton at the time, and still is, even though they're just as apart as ever, wanted to shove that down the throat of the American people, socialized medicine. And everybody knew that it was, well, at least people with a fucking head on their shoulder knew that it was going to be a goddamn nightmare, kind of like it is today. I want to thank everybody, both sides, for supporting that stupid piece of crap legislation, believing that somehow adding millions of bureaucrats and middlemen would somehow make healthcare cheaper. Stupid motherfuckers. Swear to God. Now, again, how do I know that the sides are the same? In 2012, and I'm going to keep pointing out this every single time somebody whines at me about there is a difference between the Democrats and the Republicans. No, they aren't. No, there's not. Mitt Romney, Republican senator who ran for president in 2012. Okay. He put Obamacare, Hillary Care, in at the state level. because he was governor of Massachusetts. And guess what? How can you campaign against the guy the Republicans have spent the last 2 or 3 years lambasting because of Obamacare? How can you put the guy who put it in at the state level and then pretend you don't support Obamacare? How can you do that? You can't. It's not possible. It's not fucking possible. You cannot support Obamacare and put it in at the state level and campaign against the guy who put the piece of legislation you've been campaigning against. You can't do that. That doesn't make any fucking sense. Unless they are the same size and Obama is supposed to win. You might sit there and go, that's fucking crazy. That doesn't make any sense. What are you talking about? Obama put in Obamacare when they had both houses of Congress. Imagine what the Democrats could do if they had both houses of Congress and the Senate and the presidency. Yeah, we've seen it. They push through shit that most people don't like, and then what happens after that? The American people go the opposite direction and put Republicans in to stop that kind of crap, because supposedly the Republicans are against big government over bureaucratic meddling. No, they're not. They support it when it benefits them, and they go along with it if the Democrats put it in, because, of course, their buddies are going to get, cool jobs and good paying benefits and everything else. I love government. It's so fucking corrupt and it's so nepotistic, and yet we just put up with it and allow it. It's great. It's wonderful. Yeah, I'm woke the fuck up right now. I'm going to have another cup of coffee here. And, of course, I smoke some weed, so that works. Let's see. Let's keep going with this bullshit. But, yeah, Mitt Romney. He was essentially a Democrat. He put in the same kind of policies at the state level that he, went along with in this election. He supported the other side. He didn't like Trump. And what happens when you have neocon Republicans jumping ship to the other side to support their candidate? Party shifts? What are those? Ideology shifts. What are those? Don't know. Don't have a fucking clue, right? But, okay, so let's see. Isn't much on the rule of law, the value of precedent, unless either suits them. Right. Yeah, we went over that. That's bullshit. Both sides do it. Both sides are corrupt. They'll fuck each other. They'll fuck everybody else but each other. Okay, let's get to that. This brings us to Joe Biden and his decision to pardon his beloved son Hunter. Republicans who have been hounding a guy who's clearly more trouble than trouble for years are outraged that Biden pardoned his son. More troubled than trouble? Well, if he wouldn't suppress information that the people need to know about so they can vote against the guy, he wouldn't be troubled. He'd be in trouble. But that's just me. Well, of course they are. If Biden does it, Republicans hate it. Justice or injustice. Doesn't matter at all. Again, we've been over that. Both sides do it. One side gets pissed when the other side does it. But nothing ever stops either side from doing it, because they have to go along with their own corruption, or else both sides fall. What I find more troubling are the many, many Democrats who are outraged by this decision. Outraged that the president, who has lost children to horrifying accident and terrible disease, will go to any length to protect the son who is left to him. So because he has lost children to horrifying accident and terrible disease, should get a free pass for the finals? What? What I find more troubling are the many, many Democrats who are outraged by this decision. Outraged that the president, who has lost children to horrifying accident and terrible disease, will go to any length to protect the son who is left to him. Hunter is a sinner, certainly. Sex, drugs, and taxes, for sure. Owning a gun at the wrong time in his life when the rights of prospective murderers to have access to guns is staunchly defended by Republicans in Congress and beyond. What? Yep. I'll even grant that he's tried to profit off his father's name. Okay, let's go over that one again real quick. Hunter is a sinner, certainly. Yeah, he's a criminal. He's been convicted. Or he was convicted and then in the purpose of sentencing, which is now going to get dropped because, of course, Hunter Biden's pardon for the last 10 years for everything. No coincidence. Sex, drugs, and taxes, for sure. Right. Because when your daddy's got money and everything else, guess what? Thank you. You know, when your daddy's got money, of course you're going to have access to sex, drugs, and fun. Of course, taxes aren't going to get paid, whatever. Owning a gun at the wrong time in his life, when the rights of prospective murderers to have access to guns is staunchly defended by Republicans in Congress and beyond. That's got to be one of the dumbest fucking statements I've ever heard. Owning a gun at the wrong time in his life. Yeah, when you're a convicted criminal, you're not supposed to have a gun. Okay? When you're doing something stupid with your gun, you're not supposed to have it. When the rights of prospective murderers to have access to guns is staunchly defended. Prospective murderers. Prospective. They haven't been convicted. They haven't committed a crime, but you want to defend their rights to have a gun so they can go kill people. Is that what you're saying? That's stupid. Owning a gun at the wrong time in his life when the rights of prospective murderers to have access to guns, okay, they haven't been convicted of a crime, they haven't done any illegal activities that we know of. They're fighting for their imaginary criminals fighting for their access to guns. That's stupid, and it doesn't make any sense. That's such a stretch of stupidity that I just, my mind doesn't wrap itself around that with any kind of logic or reason that makes sense. It doesn't make sense. It's staunchly defended by Republicans in Congress and beyond. Well, you know, having access to guns helps good people kill bad people when bad people do stupid shit. Hey, break into your house. Do you want to get shot? No. Well, good, because I'm going to shoot you. Makes sense. Don't break into my house. Well, if I don't have to worry about a gun or any kind of defense, guess what? I can break into your house with impunity and not have to worry about shit. If I'm not going to get shot, why would I stop? Are you good at knife combat? No, you're not. Never been in a knife fight in your life, so how the fuck are you going to stop somebody with a knife? You're not going to, are you? Thank you, sir. You're not going to stop anybody with a knife if you don't know how to knife fight. Or the criminal has a gun, you have a knife. Guess who wins? Don't bring a knife to a gunfight. Pop, pop, pop. Don't bring a knife to a gunfight. So if the criminal has an advantage over you, guess what? You're dead, you're missing your shit, and all is well and done. But the prospective criminals are the ones that the Republicans are defending, not the ones that are going to defend themselves against criminals. It's the murderers that are going to get it. Again, stupid-ass shit. Let's see. I'll even grant that he's tried to profit off his father's name. I love how this guy is literally admitting the guy that is being pardoned is a criminal, has done stupid shit that is criminal, and he's willing to excuse all of it. Because, and here we go, but more so than the great hero of law and order, Donald Trump, a man who is a convict and a known document hoarder, a man on target to federally forgive himself. Hardly. What did I say earlier about one side excusing the other side, or making excuses for their own hypocrisy by using the other side's bullshit? Right here. This guy literally knows that Hunter is a criminal. He's doing stupid shit. He needs to be convicted, but then excuses all of the political prosecution or prosecution on Hunter by saying, well, the other side's just as corrupt, even more so than that on my side. Great. How can you stop corruption? Both sides have to work together to stop the corruption within themselves. That way the outside corruption can be combated. Yet, one side excuses their corruption because of the other side, and both sides do that. So corruption can never be stopped. Corruption can never be put down. And we can't stop criminality because, of course, we're excusing our side when they do it because of the other side's criminality. You're literally creating a societal self-implosion off of the fact that you don't want to hold your own side accountable for the shit that it does. Again, I stopped being a Republican a long time ago. Why? Because I realized that the Republican Party is just as corrupt and criminal as the Democrat Party. They're two heads of the same snake. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. And then once you realize it, you hold on to hope, thinking that that other side is going to be awesome and cool and might change and might get better. And then when you finally wake up to the realization that that side is criminal, corrupt, and incompetent, just like the other side, how can you support it? And that's usually when voters check out or they become independent. And then they get hosed by both sides because both sides know that the system is designed for them and no one else. Because again, what happened when a third party had a chance to become president? They made sure that that third party choice would never happen again. Not on a national level. They weren't going to let it happen again. You only get Democrat and Republican. We're going to make sure of that. Why? Because we're Democrats and Republicans, and the power is ours, and we're two heads of the same snake. So again, let's keep going. The shit is what it is. Wake up, fuck up, and stop believing either side. The truth is somewhere in the middle, okay, of everything that they say. These Democrats are outraged because Biden said he would never pardon his son, and because Democrats believe they play by the rules without fear or favor. Shut the fuck up. That's never been the case. They're human just like the rest of us. They smell the whiff of Biden's venal corruption, just as the greatest stink ever stunk slinks into the nation's capital. Again. I love it. I love it. Biden is tainting his legacy. What legacy? The legacy of a dementia-ridden man who's been used as a puppet for the last 4 years by God knows who, by God knows what, who was then kicked out of his own presidential race by his VP, who had zero chance of winning? Tainting legacy? This is the same man who said, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. Tainting his legacy was long ago tainted. Just because you choose to ignore the taint doesn't mean it ain't there. Biden is making himself look at bad as Trump. They worry. Wow, good proofreading. New York Times report. This is one of the final straws for the president. Was a realization that a tsunami of unfreedom is bearing down on the United States. Unfreedom. Jesus. The Republican wave will sweep away all before it. Rules, traditions, and norms be damned. As Biden saw the water rising, he saved what was most precious to him. Yeah, that's cute. The rest of us, he is leaving to drown. That includes the men and women in the Justice Department who fought valiantly to jail Trump for numerous crimes. Chief among those crimes, trying to overthrow our republic on January 6th in the most half-assed attempt at a coup since Guy Fawkes. Right, even though there were agent provocateurs there employed by the federal government who were pushing people to do said crimes. And amongst them was a guy who was on the FBI's most wanted list for a second, and then all of a sudden disappeared. And then every time somebody brought up the guy, everybody would dismiss him out of hand as being completely no. He got indicted or convicted of a misdemeanor, supposedly, while all of these people are being put in prison for, some of them, even a couple decades. Gee. And some of those convictions are being overturned. Isn't that great? It was so solid that these overconvictions... Yeah, whatever. We're good. I fear that Biden will be remembered as the last president of the American Republic. The last leader before the Mad King ascended to the throne on a wave of resentment at the world's changing tides. So this guy's admitting he's a New World Order guy. He's a WEF stooge, and he's pushing for one world government. Okay? He's admitting it. Will be remembered as the last president of the American Republic. Really? The American Republic? Now, I'm surprised you don't call it an American democracy. Because this isn't a republic, right? This is a democracy. The rules change when convenient if it fits your point of view. I love it. It's like watching humanity kill each other. Hey, we can kill you, no problem. Why? Because you're human. Well, you're us. We can do it. It's time for another hit. Jesus Christ. He'll be remembered as that nice old man who handed over the keys to our freedom in a photo op held at the White House. The man who smiled and shook hands with Donald Trump, who was planning the destruction of everything Biden had spent a lifetime trying to safeguard. Oh, God, safeguard my ass. The fate of Hunter Biden will be less than a footnote, and if the Democrats don't wake up to the fact that the Ori gentlemanly rules no longer apply, they will be too. Okay, so let's go over a few things. Number one, back to the fact that the Ori gentlemanly rules no longer apply. Well, the Democrats were the ones that removed the filibuster that this wonderful man thought of and spoke about for the federal judges because they couldn't get things going. Because every time a Democrat comes into office, they've got their picks, so the Republicans put up a huge, blustery fight, get some bylines and some headlines, and the Democrats do the same thing when the Republican comes in. They both play political hockey and trying to slap each other out of the nomination. But, as long as the right bureaucrat gets in charge or the lobbyist gets in charge, everything's fine. This person has a little bit of a demon in their closet that we don't particularly care for and want to use for public attraction. Cool. Let's see. Yeah, taking away the filibuster in the Senate. Okay. It was the Democrats who did that. But they only did it for the judges. The nuclear option. The nuclear option. And then when they did that, the Republicans told them point blank, hey, if you do this, we're going to use it. You're setting precedent. You're setting precedent. That if you want to play this game this way, we can adapt to those rules too. And they did. They used it for their beneficial purposes when they got in charge. And then the Democrats whined like, how can they do that? You made the rules. Don't whine when the other side plays this on the same field as you do, and they do it better. Fear was that the Democrats changed the rules today. The Republicans would surely do the same tomorrow and the end would come. And it did. You guys want to play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. If you don't think ahead about what's coming down the pike, if you choose this option, common sense should tell you this will be used against you. If you change rules to benefit yourself, at some point the opposition is going to be in charge and they will use those rules against you. Which is why if you've got rules that protect others, you don't wipe them out when they become inconvenient to you, because guess what's going to happen? Those rule changes will become inconvenient to you when the other side gets in power. But then you say, well, but I thought they didn't screw each other but themselves. It only appears that it's screwing them. Why does it only appear like that? Because if you play theater, acting, pretending. If you pretend the other side's doing something wrong, you get points with your side. But if you're wanting those rules to be put in place to benefit you, and the other side wants those rules in place to benefit themselves, then guess what? Who's getting actually screwed? The people on the other side who aren't a part of the club, who have no fence in this game whatsoever, they're the ones get screwed. Democrats and Republicans, they're there. They're doing this for their donors, their people, their kids, their brothers, sisters, whoever the nepotistic money goes to. That's who they're doing it for. And both sides have the same goal. Get as much as they can before it all collapses. That's what corruption tells you to do. Get what you can, get out the door before everything goes to hell. And that's why I don't believe in either side. Because if you watch the Democrat and Republican do the same thing over and over and over again, it's going to prove itself that both sides enjoy the same game. They only want to play when it benefits them. They bitch and howl when it doesn't benefit them, supposedly. But when they get in office and it does benefit them, guess what? They go right along with it as if everything's 100% cool now. Again, Republican wrote Hillary Care. Hillary Care got denied, but the idea got put in at the state level by Republicans and Democrats until it was pushed through at the federal level by a Democrat and his party, which then gave rise to the Republicans taking over and then bitching about it endlessly until a few years later when they put their own guy in who pushed for the state level Obamacare, which loses you any credibility to be an opposing candidate on the other side and therefore lets the other guy win that you supposedly want to lose. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our political system the way it is always been, at least in my lifetime. Again, I love the drama because it's theater. I hate the drama because it's theater. And Hunter Biden is just another symptom of the problem. His pardon is another joke played on the American people. And all of it is being done in a subtle reminder that you have no power, you have no say, and you don't get shit except the shaft. And guess who's giving it to you? It's one big club, and you're not in it. Goodbye, everybody. Have a wonderful day, and wake the fuck up.